I'm so glad you're here with us. I'm telling you what, it's been a great day already. And I woke up this morning and got downstairs, and I'm like, man, I was a little anxious. I'll tell you, I was a little concerned about some stuff going on with us, and I just really needed to just settle down, and I didn't know what the best way was to do it. I knew probably sitting around drinking coffee wasn't the best way that morning, so I just went for a run, and I went just a couple miles, not a huge run, but still, it helped me to work up a sweat, helped me to get out of breath a little bit, and to get my heart going again. So that helped me to start to just imagine what I wanted to be for the day. And I listened to a message from Mel Robbins on YouTube, and she said, well, you get up every day and decide, what do you want to be today? And how are you going to do it? So the thing for me was to come to you and to be a positive person. And then I had to think about it, and like, there's some stuff that I could do that I haven't done yet. So I thought about how I could use technology more to show you something different, because you've been looking at this backdrop of mine for the last couple months, and I'd really like to have a chance to change it up for you. So it'll make your experience different on this medium. It won't mean a lot. I mean, it'll mean a lot, I hope, but here it is. So this is a different view of me and me speaking. So you're going to find that when I come to you and I talk more about how you can have your own personal blindness, embrace your own personal blindness and achieve a greater vision for your life, you're going to understand that it's coming from a different space. Now, it may not look that much different, but I'm willing to bet you it has a different perspective for you. And so that's really what I want to, the one thing I want to come to you with, and more than anything, is for you to have a different perspective. If you can take a different perspective on life, you're going to be so much happier. If you're going to take a different perspective, like a perspective of your customers or your friends or your family, and not so much about your perspective and how you feel, then things are going to change. And I can't wait for you all to begin to experience that. So I've got a lot of stuff going on here today. I'm just so thankful that we have the technology in order for you to be able to see this differently. And I also been thinking a lot about what I'll talk about every day. So I feel as though I've been talking about the same thing day after day after day. But I hope you haven't felt that that it's been boring or whatever. So this is a little bit of my own self-confidence, lack of self-confidence. I want to make sure that I'm providing you value every day. So when I see that there's not many comments, not many listeners, I think, oh, maybe I'm not doing the right thing, but I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing by coming to you and having this conversation, because that's the first step, is to have this conversation. So doing this is going to allow us to be able to just embrace all of what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good stuff, and I'll tell you what, there's a lot of bad stuff too. But I tell you all of this to help you to understand that embracing that bad and good stuff is going to help you. It's going to help all of us to get over this hump, to get over this gall darn pandemic that we're going through. There's a lot of crap going on. And if we can get through that crap, if we can embrace the crap, for one, and then get through it, everything's going to change. And I can't wait for us to come out the other side, because it's going to be so much better. So much better. I love you. I love you all for being here, and I love you for listening and for commenting. But I love you more than anything just because of who you are. Just being who you are makes all the difference in the world. And that's why it's so important for me to be who I am. I can't be somebody else. All I can be is me. So that's why I've taken a different approach to some of these calls, or some of these meetings here, where we get together. I'm taking a different approach where I'm going to start to tell more of my stories. So I have a lot of stories that I've compiled over the years I have 53 of them. But those stories are ones that are there to help people. And I'm going to continue to write them out. So I'm writing them out now, but I'm also putting them together in some videos. And the videos are going to be for, it's called Insights with a Radical Vision. And Insights with a Radical Vision is part of my membership site. It's a product that will be offered. But I want to have you view those videos first. I'm going to give you the first chance to look at them and tell me what you think. And tell me what you think of it. They're good or they're bad, or maybe I should change something, or maybe I should emphasize something else more. And like maybe you didn't ever know something about like that about me. I want to encourage you to just listen and think about what else can be done. So that's why we're starting this today. This is all new. We're going to come to you with something totally new. We're going to talk about a new story, and the new story is going to have a certain meaning. I'm going to tell you there's a learning lesson from it. But let's see who's all on here today, and we have comments from Laura Waller. Good morning, Laura. Oh man, I love you, and I love your hugs and all that. It's all good. So thank you very much for joining, Laura. And Laura again says she appreciates that I present the same truth in different ways. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. There's a lot to be said for having the conversation, but the truth can be told in many different ways. You're right. So many different camera views, many different ways with the stories, and many different ways of just coming together and having a conversation. So thank you so much for that. I truly appreciate that. Well, the story for today is the one, and I'm going to switch cameras and give you all a different view. But the story for today is one of my dad. And when my dad came to me, I was really young, and a little delay on my camera. So I had you don't know it, but I had I went with my dad because my mom told me wanted me to blow some stink off, so she always said that. But she said blow some stink off, go out and work with your dad, or go for a ride with your dad. So we went to the feed store. It was a grain mill up in Wayne, and at the Wayne mill, we got some different cracked corn or whatever it was for the animals. I think it was something for our Shetland pony. And having said that, I mean, we walked in and we had a conversation with everyone, and my dad knew everybody there. And when we were walking out, I get in the truck, and Dad, stops and he starts having a conversation with somebody. And they inevitably end up leaning over the side of the truck bed, like this, like you sometimes see people doing where they're just leaning over the truck and they're having a conversation. Well, the trucks these days are so fancy, you don't want to lean on them because you're going to scratch them. But those days, trucks were real trucks. I mean, they were real tools. This one truck that we had, it was the old blue truck, and it had 3 on the tree. So that's how we shifted it. There was 3 gears on the steering column, so that's how you shifted it. And you had a clutch, obviously, and all that. But so we were there and having a conversation. I had gotten in the truck already, and my dad was looking back, and he was talking with a good friend of his named Babby. And Babby was short for Gary Babcock. And Babby was a good old boy. He always wore his overall. They were bibs. They were bib overalls, and he would always just be a really nice guy. And Dad would have a good conversation with him. And sometimes we'd go up there. We'd be wearing our own coveralls, and because we would be working wherever we were working. We needed to stay clean as possible, but Mom didn't want to have too many clothes to clean. Anyway, so she already had 10 kids, so by then she was about done, I'm sure. Well, anyway, we have this conversation over the truck bed, And I didn't have the conversation. My dad did. But it kind of reminded me of the conversation we used to have at the water cooler. Remember those days where you used to be able to go into an office and meet with your other friends or coworkers, colleagues, and have a conversation around the water cooler? Well, for me, it was the coffee pot, but having that conversation, just kind of a not always a direct business conversation, but many times business kind of creeped into it, and you start to have ideas that you didn't have before because of those conversations, because of those connections, and it just made all the difference in the world. Looking back on my dad, it kind of reminds me that what conversations he was having, the conversations they were planting seeds. Well, a few days after my dad and I went to the feed store, he was on the phone with somebody and he started talking about something and the other guy on the other end of the line said, "Wally, where'd you get that idea?" He said, "Oh, we were just talking the other day up at Wayne at the feed store, and the idea of this prompted me to think about something different." And that's when it really hit me, and the fact that they were planting seeds and planting those seeds of new ideas, much like we do when we get together. And I feel so just frustrated that we can't be there on site anymore. We can't get to have a chance to visit with one another, just to do those connections. That was networking when my dad did it, back in the 70s. That was the first real networking that I ever experienced. But networking these days is taking a much different turn. Now, I'll say that it's taking a different turn, but we can all continue to think about how when we do come back, we are going to want to get out and meet with people. And granted, maybe some of you are already meeting with people, but having doing that, understand that it's really important for you not to take that lightly. I mean, I'm sure you're not, because we've been doing without it for the last, 8 months or so. But if you can appreciate that and appreciate those connections and stay up with those connections, then those relationships are going to build, and they're going to build and they're going to grow. And when they grow, it's going to be great, because you're going to be able to understand that the power of that connection is huge. It's absolutely huge. So I want to make sure that you all, and then somebody else is on here this morning. So let me see who else has joined. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening to this, live, put in a hashtag live. If you're listening to this in a replay, put in a hashtag replay for me. I would appreciate that. And always, as always, share these videos as much as you can, on your different platforms. If you're on LinkedIn or if you're on Facebook, whatever you are. So this will allow you and allow the community to be able to grow. And that is a huge aspect of what we do, is to make sure that this message gets out to as many people as possible. So that was my story for the day. I want to tell you about this little story that I remembered about when my dad took me up to the green mill. And by the way, my dad used to call me Tread. That was his nickname for me. That's probably why I've gotten nicknames all along life. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit some next time, are the nicknames that we've all gotten. But for now, I want to make sure that you are being served in the best way you possibly can. If there's anything else that I can do for you, please let me know. Don't hesitate to let me know. And as always, keep one eye on the road. Thank you. Talk to you. Oh, somebody else has joined here. Lisa Johnson. Good morning, Lisa. How are you this morning? It's good seeing you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it's nice to hear from you too. Thank you very much for everything you've done, and thank you for all of what you've done. So, as always, again, keep one eye on the road. Talk to you soon. Have a great day, a great Thursday, and see you back here Friday. We got a big day coming up Friday with the vision alignment and also the stroke of genius. So look forward to that. Take care. Bye.